All right, this is official welcome to all the participants. We are starting our webinar. Sorry for the initial delays. This is the Zoho webinar platform, this being new platform to some of the participants. We are very sorry for the inconvenience caused. Stay updated with our social media pages because these webinars will be telecasted for offline viewing. Later on, we'll start our webinar and be very we very warm welcome our all attendees who have taken time this afternoon, and we will start our webinar. So today's webinar topic is on uh, robotics for engineers, and this has been done in association with Noble Group of Institutions of Junagadh. So we thank Noble Group of Institutions for being associated with us for this wonderful webinar on robotics. We have few webinars series coming up in association with Noble Group of Institutions, and we thank uh, management of Noble Group of Institutions from bottom of our heart to allow us to host these webinars for the student fraternity and contribute towards the betterment of student society. Uh, we'll move further. A brief introduction about myself, where the main reason for flashing this screen, viewers can note down my LinkedIn and Twitter handles, and all the viewers, students, are most welcome to connect, follow myself. My name is Apurva Oza. I'm co-founder and CEO of Appraise Technology Private Limited, and we have a wonderful product on EdTech called EdUpMe. Any doubts on career, engineering subjects, or any other aspect where we can be of help, will be very much happy to assist whichever way, shape, or form we can do this. So, a small introduction from my side, and we'll start the webinar. Before we go into the outline, I would like to just go back to the first slide where uh, it is showing a toy robot looking forward to a rising sun. So this is a truly a reflection of what robotics for engineers and what the time to come. The robots are looking forward for a good sunny day, as well as the engineers who will be looking after pursuing this career in robotics. You should look after or look forward with the same zeal. Will the webinar outline is flashed on the screen with the agenda. Will of course not waste time on this, but this is just the precursor to what all coming onto the this robotics webinar for engineers, where we'll cover what is robotics, robot types, skills needed, robot applications. Will show you some of the videos which are been with permission of leading robotic manufacturer, which will show you what all goes inside a robotic cell, of course, with the terminology, opportunity, and any of the conclusions and question and answers. The next, let's probably try to do a little bit of interaction. There'll be some poll questions coming on your screens, and we would like audience to look at the polls and participate, select some of the options. Now, this will be very interesting because this will show you what is coming up. So, what is robotics? Is it mechanical engineering? And you can see a poll on your screens. Request every participant, whoever can participate onto the screen. What is robotics? Is it mechanical engineering? So, that's the conception. Robotics is mechanical engineering. वो तो mechanical engineers का काम है. I'm seeing the result. I'll publish the result in a few seconds, where I see a lot of polls coming up where the yes and no are equally rated, and maybe also is rated by few people. So thanks for participation. This is a good participation where we see what is robotics. Is it mechanical engineering? I'll publish the results now. I'll just wait for a second where I can see some votes coming in. So thank you for your participation. Let's see, we have a tie between yes and no. So the results are Robotics is mechanical engineering. People are saying yes, no in the equal stage. रोबोटिक्स क्या है, मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग है, तो ये पूरी ऑडियंस का मानना है कि यस, नो, मे बी. So good number of maybe votes, which is good response. Let's go back to the next thing. Is it electrical engineering? What do you think? Is robotics electrical engineering? Now all the electrical engineers out there can probably participate. What is robotics? Is it electrical engineering? Many people are saying no, which is good response, but not always true. So we'll see at the webinar progresses. The robotics is also electrical engineering, but let's see what audience has to say. What's your perception? So we request you to be honest with yourself and put this. Nobody is going to check what did you answer. So any participation is going to be very good. तो रोबोटिक्स क्या है, इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियरिंग है. वेल, रोबोटिक्स में मोटर्स लगते हैं, रोबोटिक्स में वायर होते हैं. तो इज वायरिंग इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियरिंग, इज मोटर्स इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियरिंग, क्या लगता है रोबोट्स में होता क्या है? तो आई विल पब्लिश द रिजल्ट्स एज वेल. वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग, वेयर no has got a lot of votes, so which is good. Okay, let's go to next question. What is robotics? Is it programming? What do you have to say? So let's see how does this work. रोबोटिक्स क्या है? रोबोटिक्स प्रोग्रामिंग है. रोबोट्स यूज करना है तो क्या प्रोग्रामिंग आना चाहिए? रोबोटिक्स है तो मैकेनिकल है, इलेक्ट्रिकल है या प्रोग्रामिंग है? And I see good number of votes now saying yes on robotics, which is a very good choice. In fact, there are few votes on the maybe. So if you are in doubt, that's a good response as well, because robotics is, maybe it's a programming or may not be. So it's a good to have doubts. I really like and thank audience to participate so wholeheartedly, saying so these are the published results where we say more than 40 votes saying robotics is programming. That's very good. So let's try a next point. What is robotics? Is it design? When I say design, is this mechanical, electrical, computer, all the designs? So all design aspects together: aesthetics, color, shape, size, performance, everything together. So what is robotics? Perhaps design, or it's no. I'll also publish at the same time so people can see and participate, looking at and getting biased on the questions we are flashing in. So this will all pave in a good way for you to understand what is robotics, because these questions will be answered in upcoming videos, upcoming slides. So good number of votes saying it is design. Some few people are saying perhaps. So good participation. Next interesting question. Is it about communication? Now, probably a mechanical engineer or electrical engineer might not be able to understand what is communication, but all other engineers, IT, EC, other engineers might be able to participate. Is robotics about communication protocols? What do you understand by communication? What you are listening is also a communication, but what do you mean by communication as far as robotics is concerned? So how do you perceive uh, robotics and communication protocols? That's good. Let's see another question. Is robotics about production and assembly? So when we say, this is again a mechanical engineering question, is robotics about production? Production is manufacturing, making things, making electrical stuff, making mechanical stuff, painting it, and assembling it and making it a good product. What is robotics? So these are all the firing questions which should fire some doubts, queries, and inquisitiveness in your mind. What is robotics? Is this, so I'll publish results. Majority saying yes, which is a good answer. And still there are few maybe answers, which is also a good answer. We'll explain what it is. Let's go to a next question. Is it about operations management? You will see a poll on your question on your screens. When I say operations management, you manage the operations of manufacturing, manage operations about logistics, sending robot from the factory to the customer shop floors and the service. And the good number of option here is can't decide, which is good, because if you say can't decide, you definitely have a good amount of doubts in your mind, which is helping us, because that will help you to find out answers into the robotics field. Now, robotics is not only mechanical engineering. Robotics is not only. So I'll flash the results for the audience to see it. रोबोटिक्स ऑपरेशन मैनेजमेंट है कि नहीं है? 19 लोग बोल रहे नहीं है. 36 people saying yes and 7 people are saying can't decide. So that's very good. अगर 7 लोग जो है जो डिसाइड नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, very good choice, because our next question is very important. Is robotics about systems engineering? Now, if you are not aware about systems engineering, or if you have heard, system engineering is the engineering branch which puts together all the engineering streams and connect them together. So this is normally done on a higher education level than the Bachelor of Engineering. So probably a master's graduate or a research graduate might be able to understand little better than what you are. But nonetheless, this is a very good question to have in terms of is robotics about system engineering? So again, let's summarize it and let's use it these questions to give you a doubt on or solve your doubt. So robotics is everything, whatever you have answered. So robotics is everything about mechanical engineering. Robotics will cover electrical engineering. Robotics is not only programming, it is not only design, it is not only about communication, and it is about programming, it is about design. So all what you see on the screen, all the streams are covered, and that makes robotics possible. So we'll quickly go on to the next slide. We thank you everyone for your wholehearted participation, because this makes the webinar more interactive and this makes webinar interesting, because if you have answered few things on these questions, you will like and you will understand more about robotics in coming slides. So as we said, robotics is multidisciplinary. It covers design where you would have frames, you have dynamics, you have forces, what you are taking, showing what you're doing, calculations on your design subjects, such as machine design, theory of machines, and so on. It is about sensors. So robotics is not only about design, it's not only mechanical engineering, it is about sensors. So there are various types of sensors available in the market, and all robots, all robotic systems must have the sensors. Now the sensors types are listed here. There are far more and bigger number of sensors out there. But yes, robotic systems will have sensors inbuilt into them for them to perform well. They will have actuators. When we say actuators, they will have systems which will give force, torque, RPM, and motion. So robotic systems will have motors, cylinders, mechanisms to drive the robot, to operate the robot. It will have gearbox of various types to impart the motion from the motors, from the cylinders to the end effector. This is very interesting. Now, robotic system is a multidisciplinary system. It has operating system inbuilt into it. So it has Windows-based, mobile OS-based, Android, iOS, and all sort of operating system out there. Robots do operate only on this system. So that means robotics is not mechanical engineering. It is as good as IT engineering, computer science as well, because these robots will need operating system to run. So this is robotics is software as well. Robotic is motion control as well. Now, what do we see by motion control? There are a number of robots working together to do a task. For example, car assembly. For example, multiple drones now for the defense purpose. So all of these are controlled using servo motors, dynamics, and the fleet management. Of course, software is inherently connected with these. Now, this is interesting subject for some of the engineering branches. Robotics is about communication. How do you communicate between the robot and the control system, and robots to robot and control system to the software, software to the people, people into command centers, back into the people, back into the robot. So robotics is all about communication. Without communication, robotics is nothing. So you have to have a communication systems in place. Otherwise, robotic system cannot work. And of course, it has got PCB and semiconductor or electronics industry associated with it. When we say electrical industries, we'll have embedded systems, we have PC systems, personal computer systems, PLC, programmable logic controllers, as well as custom-made PCBs. All these are must for a robot to work. So when you say or when you see a robot in the field, on the engineering shop floor, or anywhere out there, you have to believe that all these aspects written on the screen are applied in a way in some of the other extremes. So let's see what are the types of robots you would see in the market, or type of robot what you see. So we are trying to show with the mouse cursor here. There's a family of the robots we call industrial robots of different shapes and size. The orange color thing is a six-axis articulated robot. The next robot on the screen is called a SCARA robot. Then there is a Delta robot, and there are gantry systems. So these are the industrial system. Now, what makes industrial? We'll come back in a moment. The mobile robot, very famous on extreme right, is a Spot robot. It's called Mini Spot from Boston Dynamics, now a Hyundai company. So Hyundai in Korea has taken over this company. This is a mobile robot used in many applications. Just Google Spot from Boston Dynamics, and you will see some of the amazing application for the mobile robots. This is the future of mobile robotics. Mobile robotics means the robot itself is moving, it's not stationary. So on the left hand side on the screen, under the industrial belt, all these robots are stationary. They are fixed to a frame, and part of the robot moves, which are axis. Whereas on mobile robots, there are platforms, there are surveillance platforms, which is the number one product on the mobile tab. Now, these are the moving robots. So they have all the streams of engineering, what we just touched before: sensors, gearboxes, mechanical frame, software, IT, embedded control systems, and everything are there on mobile and industrial. And of course, the third category, what we normally say robots, is hobby robotics. So hobby robotics might include pick and place systems or toys for more awareness, technical awareness of the engineers, or the diploma, or 8+4 graduate levels. Of course, some of the legged robots, what we say, is used for sports like football and everything, where people arrange different robotics competitions. And of course, the last one is drone, where people use drones for many applications, where they track the person, track the phase, track the sports person who is running, cycling, or football, or you've very well seen the IPL matches where there is a thing which is coming hanged onto the streams. This is a mobile robot, or probably a hobby robot. So what separates them? What separates all industrial and mobile robots with the hobby robots? The industrial and mobile robots are reliable. When we say reliable, it works when you switch on. It works when you give command. It doesn't stop. It is repeatable. So the industrial and mobile robots are designed for a task. For example, that legged yellow colored Boston Dynamics robot is meant for certain inspection. So it goes on its own. It has got repeatable option. It always goes on the first floor when you say go on the first floor, and does the task with the same accuracy every time. Hobby robotics might not do. Uh, some of the hobby robots are weather compliant, but in general, industrial and mobile robots are weather compliant. Now, what do we mean? by weather compliant. Some of the robots are operating in the harsh environment, outside dusty environment, a very temperature environment where the temperature are very high in nature in range of 60 to 70 degrees centigrade, as for example sectors like foundry is concerned. Foundry sectors are dusty. Some of the sectors, for example electronic assemblies, whatever cell phones you are right now using are assembled by robots. They are called EMC compliant robots, working out. Now, there are some segments which are medical grade, which are used in the medical facilities where all the COVID medicines which are being made and delivered using robotic systems. Now, they must be very pure in terms of should not damage uh, the drugs as well as the particles or the vials in which they fill the drug. So all these robots are medical grade and they do not leak the stuff. So now this is weather compliant, what we call, and then we say safety compliant. Now safety is the biggest risk. If you are reading newspapers and everything, drones are prone to get hacked. Drones are the hobby robots may crash anytime, and that's the reason people are not giving permission to fly drones on the busy areas. As well as the industrial robots and mobile robots are known for their safety systems. So these are the robot types which takes difference from the usability, the reliable, repeatable, weather compliant. Weather compliant is the atmosphere compliant. This makes them different. So right now, I think for this purpose of webinar, we'll focus on to industrial and mobile robots. Uh, Going on to the next slides, we will see some of the videos from famous manufacturers and their system integrators who are showing a solution how they are built. So I'm running a video here. I'll mute the volume so that I can speak. Just a moment. Probably you should be able to see the videos. Due to internet speed, you might see a video in the broken down condition. The video shows a Ford assembly plant. This is a Ford assembly plant, and the light system or the fog light or the headlight system is automatically calibrated. So what you see, there robots will come, but before robots come, there are you see a lot of gantry systems, a lot of wirings, a lot of sensors, a lot of electrical items, and a lot of software. So what they just did, the robots came and measured how alignment of the lights are. So you see a lot of sensors in the cell. Now this is the actual shop floor photograph. Now another branch of robotics which is emerging, what you see in the screen, is the collaborative robots. So they work hand in hand with the people. Now the robot, what is it doing, is using the Allen key or the spanner, inserting into the light and setting. There are sensors, there is a camera. If you see, there is a camera in front which sees the alignment of the light and doing the adjustment for the light. Now this is not done by human is operating something else. Now you see the computer screen on the video. Now this also shows software, so they need to be integrated with the software. This is a closer view of what it is doing. So the Allen key is inserted. It's a sensitive detection of a screw, and it tightens for only required amount of time. This is Kuka Robotics in Germany, and you see a lot of sensors being done. The human is working using the software. So there's a lot of IT systems, and once done, all the record is done onto the IT systems. So this is one. We'll go on to the similar interesting video. This is about different types of robots. So what we're trying to show is different types of robots, different use. These are the actual use of the robots in sandwich making. This is making something like 200 sandwich an hour. This is cheese making, what you see. Now, different types of robots, different applications, different speed, and these are being used daily into food production. So the robots here are food compliant, or they are compliant so that you can use them to handle the food. Because obviously, अगर आप food खा रहे हैं तो आपको वो foods की purity, वो item की purity, you need a confirmation. आपको ये तसल्ली होनी चाहिए कि जो ये food item है वो प्योर रहेगी और वो रोबोट के यूज से बिगड़ी नहीं है. So that is where we see कि अगर आपको रोबोटिक सिस्टम है तो कहाँ से कैसे इंटीग्रेट करना है, किस तरह से इंटीग्रेट करना है, कौन सी एप्लीकेशंस के लिए है, और उसके साथ साथ कौन सी सब सिस्टम्स आएगी. सो ऑल द रोबोट्स, आप जो रोबोट्स देख रहे हैं उसके साथ ग्रिपर्स है, कटर्स है, टेम्परेचर कंट्रोल्ड है, एक्यूरेसी है जो शेप्स और साइज को कट कर रही है, स्पीड है जो आपके सामने दिख रही है, न्यूमेटिक वैक्यूम ग्रिपर्स आर देयर, कन्वेयर्स है, and all these controlled by something called control system which IT people will integrate into the system. I request participants if they have any questions, आप क्वेश्चन एंड एड टैब में डाल सकते हैं. हम ये सभी चीजें जैसे ही क्वेश्चन आंसर आता है वहां पे लेंगे. दिस अनदर एप्लीकेशन, ये एप्लीकेशन है मोबाइल रोबोट्स की, यूजिंग industrial robot on a mobile robot platform. So the robot itself is a movable using a mobile robot. So there is integration of two mobile robots together, two robots together. One is industrial stationary robot, and another is mobile robot. ये जो कर रहा है वो wind farm की जो turbine blade है उनको polish कर रहा है. So this is actual application of polishing. यहाँ पे काफी सारे सेंसर्स है, तो दिस इज नॉट जस्ट मैकेनिकल इंजीनियर्स जॉब, दिस इज फॉर electrical sensors, electronics, software, control, safety. Now, one very good thing, if you see, those are yellow particles on the base of the robot, which are the safety system. So, अगर बीच में बंदा आ रहा है, कोई ह्यूमन आ रहा है, या कोई टेबल है, या कोई कंपोनेंट गिरा हुआ है, they should be safe and robot should not damage them or robot should not get damaged. ये सभी चीजें इंजीनियरिंग की सिर्फ एक ब्रांच नहीं, हर एक ब्रांच के लिए है, और ये सब लोग इकट्ठा होके साथ में मिलके कर सकते हैं. अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग कोलैबोरेटिव रोबोट फ्रॉम कंपनी कॉल्ड एबीबी, which we call state of the art, where it is used for many applications. It's a mimic of a two hand of a human person, and it can do a lot many jobs together, where they can work with the human, they can work like a human hand, बंदे की तरह काम कर सकते हैं. बट द पॉइंट इज, जब बंदे काम कर रहे हैं उसके साथ रोबोट्स काम कर रहे हैं, तो देर आर कन्वेयर्स, देर आर सेंसर्स, देर आर सिस्टम्स, सॉफ्टवेयर, ये सब साथ में मिलके रोबोटिक्स होगा. तो मैं वीडियो थोड़ा प्ले करूंगा जहां पे ये रोबोट्स के डिफरेंट यूज है. आर्ट के लिए है, मेडिसिन पैकेजिंग के लिए है, फॉर क्वालिटी पर्पस है, फॉर ट्रेनिंग एंड टीचिंग पर्पस. दिस इज यूज्ड फॉर a lot of assembly work, where robots are assembling one thing onto another. This is like a mobile assembly, this is a medicine assembly. So this way a robot is used for many other applications in industry. It also has got a mobile base, as we have seen. We'll also go to another video where we will see a speed demonstration, where these are the noodles. This is packed in Japan using a brand of robot called Epson robots. Now, a very simple packaging operation requires so many subsystems, so many design aspects, so many electrical. So wherever you design any moving item, you will have motors, actuators, sensors, softwares. All these, they have to be covered. So again, going back to the memory lane, robotics is not mechanical, it's not about electrical, it's not about IT, it's about systems engineering. What you see is the demonstration of system engineering on display. You will see sensors. Audience is most welcome to get connected with us on one-to-one basis once the webinar is over. All the organizing committee members are available on LinkedIn. You have to just search through our channel called AdaptMe, and you'll have access to all the employees of AdaptMe, where they will be able to help you out with any of the doubts you would have or queries. Of course, at the end of the webinar, we'll have engineering session as well. Again, going back to the memory lane, robot types, what you have is articulated, Cara, Delta, and Gantry. These are the common robotic types you would see in industry. All of these is a combination of mechanical, electrical, IC, EC, IC communication. Otherwise, this is just a piece of toy. For it to work, all the engineering branches have to work together. A good demonstration of the mobile robotics. Now, this is very interesting. आप अगर warehouse management देखते हैं जहाँ पे warehouse में है, then you will have a robot like this. अगर आपने न्यूज़पेपर्स में पढ़ा है, Amazon, Flipkart, उनके जो स्टोर्स होते हैं, उनके जहाँ पे डिस्पैच सेंटर्स होते हैं, लॉजिस्टिक सेंटर्स होते हैं, वहाँ पे इस तरह के मोबाइल रोबोटिक्स होते हैं. नाउअडेज पोस्ट कोविड रोबोटिक शेफ इज वेरी यूज्ड. अहमदाबाद में एक जगह पे ऑलरेडी ये रोबोट्स यूज होना चालू हो गया, जहाँ पे बिकॉज ऑफ फ्रीक्वेंट मैन टू शेफ टू दी कस्टमर कनेक्ट, ये पूरी ट्रेस मोबाइल रोबोट्स पे डिलीवर होती है. सो इट्स रोबोटिक्स इज ऑल अबाउट solving problem, day-to-day problem of day-to-day applications. I'll quickly run through the next slide. I think I have some problem. So before we go on to the robotics terminology, let me ask Paul again. What is robotics? Now this is interesting. We need to see if you have seen the videos. If you have seen what is robotics, what is robotics? Is it multidisciplinary? Is it system engineering? Is it mechanical? Or all of the above? This is a trick question. So be careful whilst answering. What is robotics? Robotics is mechanical. Is it electrical? Or is it IT? Is it software? Is it operations? What is it? And I'll publish the results at the same time. And this is like interactive webinar, so do post your question on the tab. Of course, we will give a mic control whoever wishes to speak at the end of the webinar. And very good answers by all of us. We thank you, everyone. Robotics is about all of above, because robotics is mechanical, robotics is system engineering, robotics is multidisciplinary. So all of above is the right answer. And thank you for answering this. This is a very good participation. Now let's go quickly to the terminology. Whenever you go out there doing a job, internship, or even a visit, or talking to a friend, I think you should talk in these terms. What you should talk is the application. What is the application? कहाँ पे ये रोबोटिक्स का एप्लीकेशन कहाँ पे? अगर मोबाइल है हॉबी रोबोट से कहाँ पे है? What is the application? So application is the first terminology you should keep in mind. Payload. What is the payload of the robot? The payload means what is the weight it should handle. What is the weight a product should be handled. So अगर मोबाइल रोबोट्स के लिए उसके ऊपर बॉक्स रख रहे हैं तो वो उसका पेलोड हो गया. स्टेशनरी रोबोट के लिए कुछ चीज पिक एंड प्लेस कर रहे हैं, अगर जो वीडियो में देखा था चीज ब्लॉक्स उठा रहे हैं तो चीज ब्लॉक्स का वेट इज द पेलोड. एंड सिमिलरली ड्रोन्स. सो ड्रोन्स में अगर आपने देखा होगा 6 kg का बॉक्स उठा के ड्रोन जा सकता है. सो दैट मीन्स drones normally are now available with 20 kg, even up to 20 kg, which is a good weight for a drone. So payload is the second terminology. So अगर आप कहीं भी न्यूज़पेपर में पढ़ रहे हैं, वेबसाइट्स में देख रहे हैं, फेसबुक में देख रहे हैं, आपको क्या याद रखना है? क्या एप्लीकेशन है, क्या पेलोड है, कितना पेलोड है, क्या कर सकता है. So when you read news again, look at that this drone can take 10 kgs of weight. What is the speed? रोबोट की स्पीड क्या होगी? रोबोट कितनी स्पीड से काम करेगा? यहाँ से ड्रोन वहां जाएगा, आधे घंटे में जाएगा, एंड सो ऑन. सो what is the robotics speed? कितनी स्पीड पे काम करेगा? So speed is very important. What is the application condition? Now this is going back to the memory lane. Application could be industrial, which is fixed. Robot is fixed on a frame, doing, for example, that car application, car assembly, or the food assembly or food sortation. It could be a mobile where robot systems are moving outside as outdoor, and there could be a collaborative, which was the first video we had seen. So what is the application condition you are looking at? What is the communication protocol? Now this is a good, there are some protocols we have listed out. As अभी हम ये इंग्लिश और हिंदी में डिलीवर कर रहे हैं, रोबोट भी एक दूसरे के साथ बात, रोबोट भी सॉफ्टवेयर के साथ बात कोई एक लैंग्वेज में करेगा, कोई एक पर्टिकुलर ग्रामर से करेगा, कोई एक पर्टिकुलर letters से करेगा. Now all these is called the communication protocol. So our audience, friends in our audience who would study EC, IC and IT, computer science, they will be able to understand that systems need to talk to each other. So generally this is Ethernet based, which is the Ethernet based protocol, but these are the common protocols you would see, you would use. So this is one of the terminology we should keep in mind. The next terminology is IP rating. IP rating यानी अगर आप लोग हेडफोन यूज कर रहे हैं नॉर्मली, तो आप देखते हैं स्वेट एंड डस्ट प्रूफ, यू आर गोइंग फॉर अ रन, यू आर गोइंग फॉर अ वॉक, यू आर गोइंग फॉर अ स्विम. Nowadays the headsets are coming as IP4X or IP5X, IP6X. So the IP rating is the dust and water resistance. So IP20 is the least, IP67 is the highest. So like in sensors, the like in headphones which you can wear and swim under the swimming pool. You can go out in the harsh sun of 45, 48 degrees centigrade. You can go into dusty, you can go into rain. Similarly, the robots can be used into a water-based systems. Normally, all food-related items or robotic systems are washed with the water splash or with the water tubes, like what we how we wash our car bodies or our vehicles, our bikes. तो water को पूरा pipe से धोते हैं, because the next batch which is coming will be of different taste. तो वहां पे ये सब टेस्ट निकालना है तो उनको क्लीन करते हैं. ये करने के लिए वाटर प्रूफ होना जरूरी है. सो आईपी रेटिंग गिव्स अ वाटर प्रूफिंग और डस्ट प्रूफिंग ऑन टू दी रोबोट बॉडीज. व्हाट इज द पोजीशन एक्यूरेसी? रोबोट की एक्यूरेसी एंड रिपीटेबिलिटी क्या है? अगर मोबाइल रोबोट्स को, अगर आप बड़े ट्रक को बोलेंगे कि आप एग्जैक्टली बम पे जाके रुको, तो वो पॉसिबल नहीं है. मगर छोटी अगर रेडियो कार है तो वो रुकेगी. सो दैट इज रिपीटेबल, इट एक्यूरेट and again speed and again payload. So ये position accuracy is one of the terminology every engineer should look into mind. So this is not for mechanical engineers, mind you. A worth point to note here: IT engineer when designing a software should be aware about positional accuracy. EC engineer with designing a sensor system should be aware about the speeds, about the payloads, about the IP ratings. Otherwise, a robotic system cannot work. And very important is the safety and working principle, something which is normally abused or ignored in Indian context. So we need a safe working space. Robotics are dangerous. Robotics are dangerous for injury and fatal up to death. So whenever you are using a robot or whenever you are seeing a robot, you should see, is it safe? How can we make safer? How can we make so that there is no injury to others and who is operating robot? So these are all the terminology you should keep in mind. A worth point to note, you might feel this is not required, the mechanical engineer ये देख लेंगे, ये सभी चीजें electronics ECIC engineers को देखनी है. So that's why we call robotics for engineers. This is not only mechanical engineering job. ये सिर्फ mechanical engineer नहीं करेंगे, सिर्फ electrical engineer नहीं करेंगे. काफी लोग इकट्ठा होके. Now safety is something not very frequently taught in engineering colleges. We are saying safe, not the awareness about safety. How will you make system safe? सिस्टम को सेफ कैसे बनाएंगे? उसके लिए सेंसर्स आते हैं, उसके लिए सिस्टम्स आती हैं, उनको आपको प्रोग्राम करना पड़ता है, उनको आपको इंस्टॉल करना पड़ता है, और वो सिस्टम्स को सेफ बनाएगा. सेफ बनाएगा यानी फॉर एग्जांपल जनरल सेफ्टी फीचर, एक्सीडेंट होता है कार में तो बैग्स खुल जाती है. नाउ दोस बैग्स इज अ सेफ्टी प्रिंसिपल. अगर बेल्ट नहीं लगा है तो कार आवाज करेगी. द न्यू यूरो 6 स्टैंडर्ड्स 100 के ऊपर जाते हैं तो कार कंटिन्यूअसली बीप करती है, ड्राइवर को बताती है आप स्पीड से जा रहे हैं. सो ऑल दीज आर सेफ्टी प्रिंसिपल्स, दे हैव टू बी एम्बेडेड. उनको सिस्टम में डिजाइन करके डालना पड़ता है, सॉफ्टवेयर वालों को, एम्बेडेड सिस्टम्स वाले को, मैकेनिकल को और इलेक्ट्रिकल को. The same set of arguments we'll do with a different ways. Mechanical engineers out there, robotics is about design, robotics is about calculations. Robotics is about how will you assemble things. Robotics is about how will you do the dynamics, and very important, manufacturing, production, and something which is very neglected is quality assurance, QA and QC, quality control. This means whatever you've been taught is very applicable. How will you do a quality control? So if you say there is a lathe machine and there is a process being done, will it be done every time in the same way? Every time you will produce the same dimension? If not, how will you measure it? How will you control it? And how will you assure it, which is the QA? So how will you assure your tools they are calibrated? How will you assure your machines which are calibrated and serviced day in and out? That's for mechanical. For electrical, we are looking at wiring, protection of the element. So if the motor starts taking more current, how will you protect it in terms of not burning this up? There are switch gears, there are panels, electrical panels in mobile and industrial robots. And again, if you are doing a serial production of robots, how will you assure that every robot goes out there has got the same wire, same length of the wire, same numbers of the wire? That is the part of QA, quality assurance and quality control. For EC, IC engineers out there, it's about communication and chip level, embedded system level programming, integration and sensors, integrating sensors with the mechanical systems. They have to be done by EC, IC engineers. So robotics, you would see a good amount of opportunity for EC and IC engineers always. For IT engineers, of course, software and operating system. Now, most of the robotic systems are, as I said, Java based, Windows based, mobile server based, and the integration is done through cloud and the servers. For example, AWS servers, they are now connected to each robot. They are sending signals. Users are connected through ERP systems on the server, giving commands to the robots, mobile robots, to the drones. So IT engineer is a must into any of the robotics style you have seen. All the videos what you have seen, IT engineers were there. IT engineers were responsible to make system running with the servers and the software. A production engineering or operations, manufacturing, assembly, QC, QA again. These are part of mechanical engineering, but some of the institutes have got production engineering as the part of the syllabus. A very interesting view on management. So we know a noble group of institutions. There is a management institute. All these robotic systems have to be sold, isn't it? We need to do a marketing. We need to do a promotion. So what the videos I've shown to you are produced by a marketing team. It's done on YouTube by those companies. They go all out, approach customers, make those applications run, and then make videos and then sell another robot. So a management institute, what you are being taught, all the principles such as finance, operations, HR, all these are done by management graduates. So don't think all the management graduates out there or your friends uh, in management, they are equally needed as engineers because they will make sales happen, they will make marketing, they will push the products, they'll do the finance control, they'll do the operations control. So even management graduates are needed in robotic cells. Of course, computer engineering with the programming and software embedded level work, computer engineers are needed. And of course, a very big section for safety where we have design and audit for safety systems and safe robotic cells. So again, going back to the question, robotics is multidisciplinary, is interdisciplinary. For a robotic cell, for a career, any of the engineering branch will have ample opportunity out there in robotics, be it a system integrator, service, support, sales, marketing, software, and mechanical as well. Uh, Taking a small pause and look at what else is coming in robotics. So, service robotics is the next big thing which is going to come. Airports and hospitals will be flooded with the robots which are delivering things, which are doing things. So, nowadays, robotic surgeries are very common, where they are helped with a lot of AI and machine learning. Again, a computer science will come into picture, where there is a lot of Artificial intelligence built onto the robots doing surgery. Now, this is very crucial part, isn't it? I mean, audience, I hope you would agree that if you are being operated on your knees or any of the system, you should be completely convinced that robotics will do a better surgery than a surgeon. So the next evolution is coming on to the service robots. Our drones, as we say, last mile delivery and surveillance is very big now. And some of the underwater robotics now coming with the navigation and guidance as the added engineering stream on this. So these are the next sections coming on robotics other than industrial and mobile robotics, what we talked about. A slide with ये आपको थोड़ा नंबर्स बताएंगे कहाँ पे रोबोटिक्स जा रहा है. A slide very sorry for being a slide little old, which is of 2019. 2019 का फिगर से 22 बिलियन यूएस डॉलर्स. So 1 billion US dollar is around 8,000 crore rupees. So 22 times 22 into 8,000 crore rupees का market था 2019 में. Now this will go 2027 to 67 billion US dollars. This means in 5 years, every year, compounded annual growth rate CAGR of 15%, 15 plus. What does that mean? Compared to last year, this year there will be more 15% more robots sold. कौन से segment में होंगे? So there is a segment by segment. So this will help you select a career. This will help you select. आपको आइडिया आएगा. आप जो पढ़ रहे हैं कहाँ पे जाएंगे जॉब करने? आप जा सकते हैं ऑटोमोटिव में, आप जा सकते हैं इलेक्ट्रिकल इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स में, हेल्थ केयर फार्मास्यूटिकल में, फूड एंड बेवरेज में, रबर प्लास्टिक एंड मील मेटल्स एंड मशीनरीज में. दीज आर द सेक्टर्स वी विल डू मार्केट अपॉर्चुनिटी. वहां पे रोबोट्स यूज होने वाले हैं. एवरी ईयर 15% ऐड होने वाले हैं. दैट मीन्स उतने तो रहेंगे और 15% ऐड होंगे. वहां पे जॉब की अपॉर्चुनिटी है. कौन से इंजीनियर्स के लिए? सभी इंजीनियर्स के लिए, नॉट ओनली मैकेनिकल. इट विल बी फॉर IT, EC एंड whoever मैनेजमेंट ग्रेजुएट्स एज वेल. सो अगर कहीं पे आपके मैनेजमेंट से ग्रेजुएट फ्रेंड्स मिले तो उनको भी बताना कि ये सभी जगह पे सेल्स, मार्केटिंग, फाइनेंस, ऑपरेशंस, HR, ये सभी के लिए पोजीशंस ओपन रहेंगे और ओपन है. बाय रोबोट टाइप, these are the robot type being sold. The application which are going to go very ballistic is on pick and place, welding, material handling. Now most of the cars, what do you see? Most of the bikes, what do you see? Recently अगर आपने सुना है ओला इलेक्ट्रिक बाइक लॉन्च हुआ है. पूरा ओला इलेक्ट्रिक बाइक टोटल 200 रोबोट से असेंबल हो रहा है. कोई ह्यूमन बंदा उस पर नहीं है. इट इज ऑल ऑटोमेटेड लाइंस, सेंसर्स के साथ, सॉफ्टवेयर के साथ, एम्बेडेड सिस्टम के साथ. पूरा 200 रोबोट्स मिलके रोज के बाइक्स असेंबल वेल्ड करते हैं. तो यहाँ पे हर एक ब्रांच के इंजीनियर्स की जरूरत रहेगी. We are approaching end of the webinar, so we'll open the floor for any questions. Again, a request for all the participants, all the audience out there to follow us on our social media. हमारे social media pages हैं. आप सर्च करेंगे एडपमी से तो आपको ये मिलेंगे. We host many webinars, similar webinars. ऐसे काफी webinars हम host करते हैं जहाँ पे we try to deliver knowledge to the students, to the industry professionals, and interlink them, उनको join करते हैं. We thank you very much for the noble group of institutions. We thank Professor Ashutosh as well, was joined this webinar, and thank you for your patience and listening to all these industry applications. Over to you, Ashutosh ji, if you want to have a word to the audience.
Yes, good evening all. On behalf of Noble Group of Institutions Junagadh, I, Professor Ashutosh Abhangi, with the entire family of Noble, actually I would like to thank sir, as today's experts, Mr. Apurva Oza sir, that are giving me the lots of guidance regarding the robotics in a very short of time, and they are trying to explain almost all the things like what is robot, types of robot, their applications with the terminology, and again that delivering the very many live examples that even today's students or the faculties are not seeing. Yeah, so for sir, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I would like to thanks to the students as well as staff member of the Noble that they are always eager to learn something new. Yeah, so this is from my side, sir.
Sure, आशुतोष जी, thank you very much. आपने बहुत अच्छा point बताया. Thank you all the students who have joined and listened and participated. काफी अच्छा participation किया. We really thank faculties, all the faculties of Noble Engineering College. We are available for any of the assistance at all times. हमारे emails पे, social media page पे अगर आप connect करेंगे और one to one करेंगे, we'll have our numbers listed for all the faculties and the students. We will be happy to assist. किस तरह से help कर सकते हैं, किस तरह से guide कर सकते हैं. This is something we do day in and out, so it will be a pleasure for us to handle this. Uh, there are some of the robotics courses available on the AWP platforms. This is not a right platform to announce this, but just for any interested candidate, they can see and go to our app to download this. Any of the question answer भी हम question answer ले सकते हैं. आप Q&A टैब में डाल सकते हैं. अगर किसी फैकल्टी को भी questions है, कहीं पे किसी को बताना है, तो they can raise your hand. We'll unmute them and allow them to speak. Thank you. Waiting for any question and answers to come.
So there is one wonderful Q&A coming from Irfan Vora. बहुत ही amazing question है अपूर्व sir. What and where to do for starting to learn automation and robotics for employment-oriented courses?
It's a very good question. There is no straight answer, to be honest, because robotics, as we अगर हमने देखा है, robotics is a multidisciplinary. So you have to start from one corner. एक corner से जाके धीरे-धीरे explore करते हैं. The best way to do this, all these robotics manufacturers. So get in touch with us. We will let you know कहाँ पे opportunities है. ये सभी robotics companies, automation companies, GETs, ग्रेजुएट इंजीनियर ट्रेनिंग लेते हैं. ऑफ कोर्स उनके लिए एंट्रेंस एग्जाम्स रहेंगे इंडिविजुअल कंपनीज के लिए. सो दैट इज वन. अगर करियर की बात करें तो आप वो सभी कंपनीज के लेवल है. कुछ एक कंपनीज है जो बहुत ऊपर के लेवल पे है, तो उनके लिए शायद आपके लिए एंट्री बैरियर रहेगा. तो हम उसके नीचे के एक लेवल पे जा सकते हैं. ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है कि हम सीधे डिजाइन में जाए. सो ऑल दीज रोबोटिक्स ऑटोमेशन कंपनीज, आप सर्विस इंजीनियर के लेवल पे जा सकते हैं. वहां पे आपको काफी अच्छा नॉलेज मिलेगा, काफी अच्छा सीखने को मिलेगा, एंड धीरे धीरे आप वहां पे एक करके एक ट्रेनिंग करके आप जा सकते हैं. सो पहला आंसर है ट्राई सर्चिंग फॉर द कंपनीज हु आर डूइंग. एंड यही हमने देखा है. आप जूनागढ़ से हैं, आप लोग काफी आप ये सभी नाम जो हमने बताए हैं, ये यूट्यूब पे रहेंगे अवेलेबल. यू आर मोर देन वेलकम टू कनेक्ट टू अस. विल शो यू द कंपनीज कहाँ पे आपको देखना है, उनके ओपन पोजीशन है, वहां पे आप अप्लाई कर सकते हैं. हर एक के गुजरात में भी उनका बड़ा मार्केट है. सो गुजरात के लिए वो गुजरात के बंदे लेंगे, रिक्रूट करेंगे. सो काफी सारे ऑप्शन है सीधे लेने. सो अगर आपके पास नॉलेज नहीं है तो वो लोग देंगे. दैट इज नंबर वन. Platforms like AdaptMe, we are launching courses on robotics. So वहाँ पे आप industry ready courses भी कर सकते हैं. There are institutes जहाँ पे COVID permitting आप robotics के offline courses after college graduation आप कर सकते हैं. One of the institute we know is in Ahmedabad called IGTR, Indo-German Tool Room. वो लोग robots के course करवाते हैं offline. Offline माने आपको physically वहाँ पे जाके करना पड़ेगा. That is one. And of course, the third thing is there are famous edtech platforms. You can go onto them. AdaptMe is one of them, and then you can download those courses, get those courses done. And the third thing is using the power of social media. Start connecting to the automation companies, their service engineers, their senior management. Look at advices from them. They will be able to guide you how to go forward. Of course, we are also available. I hope that answers questions partly.
So I can see that many students are, or the faculties are raising their hand. So I can see two people, Antala Teet and Irfan Vora, they have some questions as well. I will request Antala Tirth to please, I will unmute you and you can ask your questions to directly Apurva sir. You right now have an access to talk. Hello, Tirth.
If you can try to unmute yourself, probably you will have the control now.
Okay. So unfortunately, yes. Okay, Tirth, if you are able to listen to us, you can unmute yourself and you can ask any question.
I have given control to Irfan as well. Irfan, you can unmute yourself and ask a question.
Hello.
Yes, you are audible, Irfan.
Yes, good evening, sir. કેમ છો પહેલા તો ઘણા વખત પછી
Very good, Irfan. Thank you for checking.
આજે
Thanks.
I just got some time. Actually, I was busy, but I joined late. So actually, I was interested to learn robotics and divert in this field. I wanted to do some kind of, because see, I have experience. You know me, and just experience of that kind of it is not enough to get a job in robotics field. So that was my purpose, that what should I upgrade, or what kind of course or what kind of proper thing I should do to upgrade myself in order to get an employment in this sector. That is what I am looking for.
It's a very good question, Irfan, and quite pertaining. So, for the audience, I know Irfan Vora since many years. I have been uh, following him on his further assignments. For audience as well, जो engineering graduates है, ये अच्छा question है. So, कैसे करेंगे? अगर मैं आपकी जगह पे हूँ, तो ये इस तरह से मैं handle करूँगा. सबसे पहले आप ऐसे कोर्सेज कर सकते हैं जो थियोरी एस्पेक्ट्स कवर कर सकते हैं. नंबर वन, वो उतना हेल्प करेगा, 20% इतना हेल्प करेगा. एक और चीज कर सकते हैं, जहां पर भी हर एक रोबोटिक्स कंपनीज में सर्विस इंजीनियर, मेंटेनेंस इंजीनियर, सपोर्ट इंजीनियर का काम ये होता है कि इधर साइट्स पे जाना है या रिमोट कनेक्शंस लेके रोबोटिक कंट्रोल सिस्टम्स का चेक करना है, जो नॉर्मली सर्विस इंजीनियर्स इजीली कर सकते हैं. और सर्विस इंजीनियर्स लाइक इरफान वोरा, उसका प्रीवियस एक्सपीरियंस देखे तो वो कर सकते हैं. हर एक रोबोटिक्स कंपनीज में सर्विस इंजीनियर की ह्यूज रिक्वायरमेंट रहती है, बिकॉज नॉर्मली पीपल अवॉइड करते हैं सर्विस इंजीनियर की तरह ज्वाइन करना है. हालांकि वो एक छोटा सा मिसकंसेप्शन है, छोटा सा कंफ्यूजन है. सर्विस इंजीनियर की तरह करेंगे तो डिजाइन में नहीं जा पाएंगे, सर्विस इंजीनियर की तरह करेंगे तो मार्केटिंग में नहीं जा पाएंगे. ऐसा नहीं है. मेरे एक्सपीरियंस से जितने सर्विस इंजीनियर है, 3 से 4 साल काम करने के बाद वो सेल्स में गए, 3 से 4 साल काम करने के बाद एप्लीकेशन में गए और काफी सक्सेसफुल रहे हैं. तो यस, एक चीज रहेगी कि आपको थोड़ा टाइम देना पड़ेगा, मगर अगर आप सर्विस इंजीनियर की तरह एंट्री लेते हैं कोई भी लीडिंग रोबोटिक्स मैन्युफैक्चरर्स के यहाँ पे, और अगर 1 या 2 साल में आपके पास कंट्रोल है कि आपको पूरे रोबोटिक्स का फीचर्स पता है, देन दे विल बी एबल टू टेक यू इनटू एप्लीकेशन और सेल्स और टेक्नो सेल्स और टेक्नो सपोर्ट वहां करके, देन यू हैव गॉट चांस फॉर अ गुड करियर. So, answering you, Irfan, first is 20% will come through the knowledge, like Adapt Me and some platforms. Another 30 to 40% comes after doing jobs और कहीं पे जॉब करने हैं जहां से आएगा. और next 30% of course is on you, where you learn these principles, apply and grow faster. I hope we have answered.
Okay, sir. Thank you. We will connect later on.
Thank you, Irfan. Any other questions we can take? Yeah, thank you. Yes, if there is no other question or raise hand is coming, we can formally close this webinar. We once again thank you, Noble Group of Institutions, senior management, faculty members, and of course all the students to give your precious 1 hour 25 minutes as of now, and hearing this webinar. We also loved delivering this webinar. We will come back with similar webinars and we expect similar participation. Thank you very much and have a nice weekend ahead.